welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday, and we're reviewing the Kingdoms of Crusaders Ordinance expansion.
Originally, Kingdoms of Crusaders came in a box, much like this, but it was only a 2-player game. And if you wanted to play it up to 4 players, you'd have to buy 2 copies. But with this expansion, you only need the original, and now you could play up to 4 without having to buy 2 of the originals.
And it's a good game. It's a much improved on the original. More options. You got more douchebaggery cards and stuff in here.
Well, douchebaggery cards.
Yeah, there is douchebaggery cards in here now.
Yes.
So, by the way, we've patented that word. That is a Gamer Table exclusive. Anyone else uses douchebaggery, you have to pay us 1 penny.
You put a little TM up in the corner of their head.
Now, one thing I like about it that they didn't do in the original game is they actually made it playable for up to 4 players right out of the box. Now.
You've got Kingdoms cards and Ordinance cards in there, which can be played on each section, and it will possibly negate certain symbols, so those symbols won't score at the end of the game. Or you can play Ordinance cards where you're drawing extra cards or stuff like that.
Now, instead of the 5 cards in the original game, you get dealt 6 cards, because one of them may be one of the optional either Ordinance or Kingdom cards.
Ordinance has a scroll.
And Kingdom cards have a castle. And with the addition of the Kingdoms cards, you can negate. It's okay, I'm doing really well in everything but bows. He's got bows in area 2. I haven't finished my area yet, so I'll cancel out the bows in that. So now I have a fighting chance to get that area rather than just losing it and throwing all the garbage cards in there the way I used to be. And the Ordinance cards allows you to shuffle your armies around or get rid of his armies or get more cards into your hand.
This is a pretty powerful Ordinance card. It says move your unit card from one location to another or change 2 of your unit cards in different locations. And really they can be played in a full location.
That's a very good card.
That's handy because otherwise a full location, which means you have 4 cards in that area, is locked. And we should point out, the Kingdom cards cannot be played by you on an area that you've already got 4 cards in that is full.
Right.
Only somebody else can play one if they haven't filled it up. So there's a little more strategy in this than before. You don't want to just quickly fill it up. I got 4 powerful cards in here, you'll never beat me, because, well, really? I don't think we're going to use that particular symbol in that area, so now you got 1 weak card, and you're getting trounced.
Or they're just using a weaker symbol, but there's cards that actually have a double-up symbol on it. So instead of just having 1 bow, it's got 2 bows on the same card.
And there's even double-header cards that get 2 symbols on top.
Flip it around and use the other side instead.
More options. I mean, this is really what Kingdoms of Crusaders needed. If you watch our original review, I think that comes across. There weren't a lot of options. It was like, you play your card, I play my card.
You match the symbols the best you can. I mean, okay, you're going to lose that one, throw your junk there.
It's total luck of the draw in the first one.
Yeah, the last game we played of this, there wasn't an area where I'd just throw the junk there. No, because I got these cards, can change it. He thinks he's winning. No, he's not. My junk all of a sudden became
a little bit better than just junk. There's some definite planning involved. Like, you're obviously not going to be able to play standards in every one of the areas. So you'd have to okay, I'll put my standards here, and I'll try to concentrate my swords over here. But it's definitely improved from the base, because there are a lot of cards that change and make the game more interactive.
So anyway, yes, it's very much improved over the original game. The douchebaggery cards in here are terrific. The expanded cards where you get the double sides or doubled up symbols is really good.
How do you like the artwork, Ken?
The artwork on this one is probably one of my favorites in most card games here. Just for a basic deck, like the backs of these cards, I just love this picture of the Crusader and
the sort of stained glass.
Yeah, stained glass and everything like that. But just the rich color and detail and everything like on there, and the etchings on the I don't know, not the back of the card, the face of the card, whatever you would call it, is excellent. I don't know where it's from, but they look old, but they're beautifully rendered, and there's some in here that are just fantastic.
I want to say 11th century. I can't remember. I think I read somewhere on their information that it said what it was. It is, yeah, you're right. It's really old. Yeah. And it's those old black and white just line drawing. The etchings.
It's etchings.
You know what etchings look like. And they've taken just little pieces and put them on the different cards. It doesn't mean anything to the game, but it's nice to look at.
Oh, yeah, they're everything. The detail on these cards and the artwork is just fantastic. Even though it's, just a decent game. I mean, there's not a lot to the game. It's fun. It's a lot more fun than it used to be.
Yeah, you look at the card, you got a nice picture, but it doesn't actually mean anything for the game. You're just looking at the actual little symbols that are at the top.
So after a long absence, here we are with another Dungeons & Dragons expansion. This book is called Into the Unknown, the Dungeon Survival Handbook. And you think, well, what's this? Just for like the Dungeon Master or what? I mean, the Dungeon Survival, I mean, don't go where the goo is and don't trigger the trap. I mean, don't light a fire when you can smell gas. That's when we know how to survive in a dungeon. No. This is adding new stuff. New character classes. New races. The first one. We got 3 new races. The Goblin, the Kobold, and I think they made this one up. The Snurvneblin. Okay. Are the 3 new races you can play. And you have dungeon-themed powers that you can add to people and new character themes. So before you had race and you had class. There were the 2 parts of your character. Now we've added themes. A third one. Oh, look. We've got a triumvirate, a tripod, if you will, of characters. Sounds like it'd make it better. Are they cool pictures? As always in these books. All sorts of illustrations. All sorts of information. All down, oh goodness, torturing people and trapsmiths. Ooh. These books are always fairly entertaining. There's a lot of flavor text in them, along with a lot of explanation of what the races and classes do. Even though I still argue the fact that you need to develop your race before you develop your class when you're making a character, but they list the classes before the races in the books. Don't understand that, but hey, that's the way they do everything. Snurfnerdeblin Society. I'm sure I'm going to get letters because it's probably a Scandinavian word or something. It's Svirfneblin. Svirfneblin. Sounds Scandinavian to me. Though it could just be completely made up because there's a lot of D&D stuff out there. Anyway, there are new skills to add to all the classes that exists. New skills to add to the new stuff they've added in this book. And they add a lot of, as I say, they call it theme, which gives your character powers that reflect the idea maybe he's a dungeon dweller. He lives down here all the time. Or maybe he's an Underdark outcast. Or he's an Underdark dude. Underdark dude. There. You bet you'll find that on one of the pages in here. Underdark dude, if you look it up. Yeah. Dungeon don'ts. Wow. Don't use herd animals to send some cows or sheep through the traps. Yeah, don't do that. Even if you are hungry for, a little bit of brisket, maybe it's not a good idea to send the cow into the trap. That's just wrong on so many levels. Dude, come on. Volcanoes, sewers. Castle Ravenloft. Like the board game of the same name and the adventure, you know the history of Ravenloft. Anyway, there it is. Another new book for the Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition series. Whether you're a player or whether you're a game master, dungeon master, or however you want to call it. If you're into a lot of dungeon stuff, you're into the Underdark side of things, might be a book you want to pick up.
Hello, I'm here to give you an update on Magic the Gathering. Friends at Wizard of the Coast were kind enough to give us the Avakin Restored 60-card deck plus a 15-card booster pack and some other various cards. I definitely like a lot of the cards. Some of them seem really powerful. I'll just read this real quick. Ignite the Dawn. Innistrad is a plane of menace and dread, where every creature hides a darker aspect. Here hedonistic vampires stalk the shadows to quench their thirst, and the full moon can transform a simple villager into a savage werewolf. But now the Archangel Avacyn has returned. A bright, fiery dawn banishes Innistrad's shadows. Humanity takes up arms and drives back the creatures of the night. With flights of angels overhead, the righteous band together and wield holy light and miraculous magic to restore the balance of their world. Avacyn Restored, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, is the third set in the Magic the Gathering Innistrad block. It features 244 black bordered cards, including randomly inserted premium versions of all cards in the set. It is available in booster packs, intro packs, and fat packs. Avacyn Restored will be drafted by itself. Sealed events will use... I don't think that's important to what we have to say, but sealed events will use 6 Avacyn Restored booster packs. And I'll just describe a few of these cards. Here's a black creature. It's 6 mana cost, 2 of it being black. It's a 5/5 demon with Death Touch. Whenever another non-token creature dies, you may draw a card. That can be really handy. You can draw a lot of cards doing that way. And there's one particular type of card. Let me see if I could find it here quickly. It's not in that. Where did I put it? Here we are. There's these sorcery cards that have a little border around the outside. This one's called Blessings of Nature. It's a 5 mana cost. One of them needing to be a green mana. It distributes 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of target creatures. And it's got a miracle of a cost of 1. And you may cast this card for its miracle cost when you draw it, if it's the first card you draw this turn. So these are very powerful cards, and you just have to draw them and play them pretty much right away. So when you draw, you see it, you obviously show it to your opponent and say, I'm going to cast this one right now for its miracle cost. And that's very powerful. This one, another miracle card, Reforge the Soul. It will cost 7 mana, 2 of them being red, or 5 mana, 2 of them being red. Each player discards his or her hand and draws 7 cards. And the miracle cost is 1 colorless and 1 red mana. Like, that's a very powerful card. These are very nice cards. And I find the deck that came with it, it's a really heavily themed towards angels. Angels and vampires, I'm guessing. But some really cool cards in here. Like, let's have a look at this one here. Gold Knight Redeemer. It's a 6 cost, with 2 of them being white mana. It's a angel, it flies. When Gold Knight Redeemer enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life for each other creature you control. So if you have a huge army, that's a lot of health. Now, I'm not super into Magic. It's been a long time since I played. I played originally when it was Arabian Nights was fairly new. Well, that would be the first expansion. And yeah, that gives you an idea. It's been a long time. I'm around the time where you had like the Time Walks, the Forks, Berserk, where Berserk was just an uncommon card. A lot of these cards seem really, really strong. And I realize a lot of the really old cards have been banned or at least heavily restricted in tournament play. But definitely some really neat cards here. And that's my review or my update on Magic the Gathering.
Wrapping up for Kingdoms of Crusaders Ordinance expansion. I'm not even going to bother with what we gave the first one because this seems almost like a different game with what they've added to it.
Well, right. Totally is because it's more than just a 2-player game.
Well, and it's more than just matching the symbols. There's more a little bit more, not a lot, but there's more strategy to it than there was.
Yeah. You're still handcuffed to what you draw. If you never draw the cards that help you, then
they seem to in the expansion have added more of the powerful symbols though than there used to be.
I'm going to give it a 6. Yeah, but in this one, at least you can play your Kingdoms or Ordinance cards first, then you must play a unit card. But you can also discard after you've played your unit cards, any Ordinance or Kingdom cards that you've had in your hand. So you're, if they're not useful at that point or anymore, you can draw them up more cards and improve your hand. Possibly.
Unfortunately, you're still stuck with the subpar unit cards.
Yeah, the unit cards you're still stuck with. But.
Yes, they're both correct. You cannot draw any more unit cards, but the ability to chuck 3 cards and get 4 cards in the next round instead of 1.
Possibly 3.
You got 4 chances at maybe getting some doubles or maybe getting something that's going to change the outcome of what you've got.
Right. It's not just draw 1 and play 1 anymore.
I give Kingdoms of Crusaders Ordinance expansion a 6.5. So back to the tripod of gaming. Theme. No.
Doesn't really matter now.
I mean, it's supposed to be the Crusades, but really, it's like we said before, you could be playing poker. You're just matching kings, queens, and aces. Easy to teach? Yeah. I mean, anybody, you don't need to, again,
it's one
except for these new cards, it's not language dependent because it's just matching symbols. Pretty colors. And
you still need rules to figure out
it's much more fun to play than it was.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, being able to play more than 2 players.
Well, and being able to have more options.
Right,
more options.
There's much more options.
It's definitely an improvement to the original. I give Kingdoms of Crusaders Ordinance a 5.
So that's it for the Gamers Table. Tune in again next week for another episode where we review another game.
There you go.
If we happen to manage to get another show. I don't know if you guys are all aware of this, but I'm working up to 60 hours a week, and it's going to get more. So if the episodes are not quite on time, I'm apologizing in advance, but we're doing the best we can. Remember, this is on top of a regular job, and we are up to 2 episodes a week. And I shudder to think what would happen if we get up to 3 episodes a week.
Oh, and we've tried it with just the 2 of us before, and it's just not as fun.
No.
We just like talking over each other.
We need Baldy
and talking.
Go watch the Trade Fleet episode. There's almost more outtakes than episode.
Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah, bye-bye. Hello and welcome to the Gamers Table. It is Monday. Shit.
Really?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, this is good blooper.
Oh, no, it will be in there, yeah.
This is good blooper.
This is good blooper.
Nothing, honey.
Okay.
So, yeah.
You really know how to silence the table, don't you?
Oh, then my clap snap. I know I should use the real clapper, but I'm not get a clapper. I got to clap it a clap. Hello, back after a long absence. A Dungeons and Dragons expansion book. So here we are with another dungeon expansion. Competing in games.
So now that they know it's a better game than the original, why don't we tell them, if they haven't seen the original one, what we actually do in this game?
No, just go back to the original Kingdoms of Crusader review.
You watch all our reviews religiously, don't you?
Yeah.
Ken's a very sick man.
Why?
He wants to throw his junk on the table.
They told me to throw my junk on the table. They're lucky I didn't. But anyway, where were we?
I don't know.
You dirty mind, man. Anyway.
You're the one who went there.
No, I didn't.
We were just saying you could throw your junk somewhere, and you started.
And you immediately picked up on it. Yeah, right.
That's because I'm aware of what's going on at the table, unlike some other people.
And there you have it for another game from the Gamers Table. And we'll see you next Monday for another review. That was kind of lame, but
yes, it was.
Tune in next week for another review of another game, because that's what we do.
See you, bye. I'm gonna go get me a rum and coke, baby.
One small step for man,